And how do we do this again? Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Welcome back. I missed you guys. Did you miss me? It's been way too long since we've done an episode of films people saw top 10 review. In fact, it's been so long that I had misremembered and miscalculated what the last top 10 list we did. And I have scripts done for 2020, 2021, and 2019, which is what we're doing today. I don't know why I said it in that order. That's how long it's been. I can't even speak words in the correct order anymore. But I'm hoping that we can solve that problem. As you heard, I already have 2 other shows lined up, and I have another show lined up to do a decade in review, breaking down the top 10 grossing movies for each year in the 1970s, and then I will do a top 10 list for my favorite films of the 1970s overall. I'm not going to do a top 10 for each year, because there were some years that I didn't even see enough movies to make a list for, so we're going to do an entire decade breakdown for the 1970s of my top 10 favorite movies of the decade, and the top 10 each grossing for each year as well. With all that being said, I hope you guys stay tuned for those episodes of 2020, 2021, and a decade in review of 1970s. But for you today, we have 2019. And I actually apparently have made the 2019 top 10 list before, about 5 years ago, in the last decade in review episode that we did. So what I thought would be fun to do today is if we took that template of the old list and compared it to my new list. Because hindsight is 2026. But also, I've had a lot more time to watch a lot more movies, and now I also get to see which ones I've watched more over the years, so which ones have stood the test of time over the past 7 years, and also which ones I've watched more is going to really, and which ones will be more watchable is also going to help dictate where they land higher on the list and that type of thing. So, let's get right into it. So what we're going to do is we're going to do like a Family Feud style game. Let's take a look at the empty lists. Here we go. All right, so let's take a look and see how it all plays in effect with the original list made 5 years ago. So, without further delay, let's see what we did 5 years ago. At number 10, 5 years ago, I thought my 10th favorite movie of the year was Escape Room. All right, excellent movie. Fun little movie. Basically, it's like a modern day version of The Cube, just with different traps and different rooms, but basically it's the same thing, which is why I really enjoyed this movie, because it's just a lot of fun, doesn't take itself too seriously, and if you enjoy the concept of a modern escape room with a horror twist, then you should definitely check out this movie. But let's see where it ended up on the modern list. Number 4 on the list. Look at that. A massive jump boost for Escape Room. Yeah, I absolutely love this movie. I've watched it numerous times. The sequels are not as good. They can still be fun and enjoyable for what they are, but the quality absolutely deteriorates as the sequels go on. But that still doesn't make this first movie any less enjoyable. The characters are a lot of fun. The action's enjoyable. The CGI is great, and it really plays with tension very well. So that's why it's gone up higher on the list, and I'm going to continue to rewatch it when it comes to Halloween season. So it's going to have a lot of rewatchability, and that's why it's higher on the list than some of these other movies. All right, let's find out what number 9 was from the previous list. So previously, I said at number 9, I really liked the movie Rise of Skywalker, and I was an idiot. I don't know how stoned or drunk I was when I watched that movie or made that list, but holy Moses. Has my opinion ever changed about this movie? Now, I can still find reasons to enjoy this movie, and I can forgive this movie for a lot of things, but absolutely does not deserve to be on a top 10 list unless it's the top 10 worst movies of all time. So hopefully let's take a look. Yeah, okay, just bad. They set themselves up for failure from day one. So anyway, we're talking way too much about this movie. Let's move on to number 8 from the previous list. And the previous list, we had at number 8, 1917. Ooh, yes, this was a fantastic movie made to look like it is all shot in one take. Totally enjoyable, throws a lot of twists at you that you don't see coming, and really builds the tension and utilizes the one take that a lot of movies tried to master beforehand or tried to recreate since, but none of them have really captured the essence or utilized the purpose of a one-taker as well as this movie. This movie is absolutely thoroughly enjoyable and something I will go back and watch a few times probably, but it's not on my high watch list of rewatch because once you see it, you know, it's a spectacle, but the tension does lose itself once you know where those beats are coming from. So let's see where it ends up on the list. Is it going to be on the top 10 favorites, the honorable mentions, or in the worst? Let's see where it fell. Wow, fell completely off all lists. Didn't quite make it to the honorable mentions. Not bad enough to be on the worst of list. Well, that's a good list to not be on, but wow, okay. That's surprising. Let's see what's up at number 7 from the previous list. And the previous list, we had number 7. I said that Jojo Rabbit was my 7th favorite movie of the year. So let's see where that ends up on the modern list. Honorable mention, top 10, definitely not one of the worst. And it's number 8. All right, so I fell down a little bit. Yeah, another one of those movies where once you've seen it, you probably don't need to rewatch it unless you're showing a friend for the first time. It's one of those movies that's, it's just... All right, so up next at number 6, we have, from the previous list, Ready or Not. All right, so we have number 6. Up at number 6, we have Ready or Not. Ready or Not was my 6th favorite movie of the year on the previous list. Let's see where it ends up on the modern list. And on the modern list, it's all the way up to number 2. That's right. Again, this is going to get the Halloween regular watch bump. That's why it's up there so much, because every Halloween, this is going to be one of the ones that I go back to. It's super enjoyable, super fun, and even though you know where the beats are going to drop when it comes to tension, it's got that fun element to it, so you don't always have to be scared of what's happening. You can enjoy the cat and mouse game that's going on. But yeah, number 2 for modern day is Ready or Not. Just, it's so rewatchable. It's going to be so fun every Halloween, and it's so unique and original in terms of its premise that it's gets a big bump from 6 to 2. So let's see what we have here at number 5 on the previous list, and let's keep this show rolling, shall we? Up at number 5, my 5th favorite film of the year on the previous list was Avengers Endgame. Need I say? I don't need to say anything about this movie. It's phenomenal. If you haven't seen it, it's just not your bag. You're not in the whole Marvel or superhero thing. That's fine, whatever. But let's see how it's done over the years. How has time treated Avengers Endgame? And it's right where it was. Yep. Because this is the ending of a 10-year saga, it's not something you can really watch on your own. You need to watch at least 1 other or 2 other movies before this one makes sense, if not 23 other movies. So because of that, I couldn't bump it up anymore, and I didn't want to downgrade it either because it's still a phenomenal watch. I have seen all those 23 other movies, so I can just put it on whenever I want, and I will put it on whenever I want because the battle sequence at the end is so worth it. And it's a fun ride throughout the whole thing, and that's all I'm going to say. Avengers Endgame, number 5, stays tried and true. All right, up at number 4 on the previous list, my 4th favorite film on the previous list is Us from Jordan Peele. Let's see if that makes it anywhere on the 3 lists we have before us, and no, it does not. It's not anywhere. It was so close to making my honorable mentions again, but once that I saw that it was already on this list, we're going to be talking about it, I felt that I didn't need to put it on the honorable mentions. But also, that's a lie. I made the honorable mentions before I watched that video. It just didn't make it. It just didn't make it. After time, after knowing that ending and sitting with that ending, there's so many questions that, like, from a story standpoint, like, how did he think that it worked? And it just, there's so many movies that when they have a mysterious or a symbolic ending, that you're supposed to be able to have this conversation of ambiguity, and it's not supposed to make 100% logical sense, but it has to make a little bit of logical sense, and there's too many holes in the whole scheme of what had to go down to make this work, that it kind of tears away from it. But the rest of the movie is phenomenal. And if you have, like, that ending aside, you retcon that ending and you come up with something else, and then they do a sequel or something, but the rest of that movie is super enjoyable, but the ending I just can't get behind, and because of that, it just didn't make the list. But it's definitely not one of the worst movies I ever saw, so it didn't make the bad list either. So we're up to our top 3 films of the year, ladies and gentlemen. Let's keep going here, and then we'll reveal what we haven't revealed already. So up here now we have our top 3 films of the year. Now, previously, my third favorite film of the year was John Wick, number 3, and I'm not even going to... Yeah, look, right there. It's staying at number 3. Again, it's same kind of reasons for Avengers Endgame. It stayed where it is. I've rewatched this movie several times since release. I'm going to continue to watch it several times. It's super enjoyable. I love this entire franchise. It's my favorite action franchise of all time. I love that every chapter they just keep upping the ante. Everything just goes over 9,000. And everybody's performance is fantastic. The action is amazing. The choreography is amazing. The cartoonish nature of the bad guys is always fantastic. Another extra awesome element introduced with the adjudicator, and again, it's not a movie I can put up higher because I wanted to save the higher numbers for more originality rather than things that were based on a comic book or sequels. Even though it's an original idea, an original IP, it's still the third in the franchise. So because it's the third, I figured it should stay at number 3. All right, so on the previous list, I said that my second favorite film of the year was The Lighthouse. And I'm going to watch this movie a lot. The originality of this movie is amazing. The performance, the cinematography, everything about this movie is top-tier filmmaking, and it's probably one of the few movies that I feel comfortable giving a 10 out of 10. Because just from top to bottom, construction of the story to the cinematography, the idea to go letterbox, it's just... And, I mean, I also know a guy who worked on locations on it, so I have a little insider bias to it, but this is my cat Loki, by the way. This is Loki. So Lighthouse, if you haven't seen it, it's a fantastic mythical folklore style of movie, and it's definitely of the psychological horror style, and something worth watching to any cinephile. So if you somehow have let The Lighthouse slip through your fingers, please go and seek it out. It's chef's kiss to The Lighthouse. So that's last year's number 2, which means that's right, it's number 1. And again, probably one of the few movies that I feel comfortable giving a 10 out of 10 as a movie and cinematic experience. And an ending that just is a full home run. So if you like mystical style, black and white fantasy horror films, psychological horror thrillers, then what are you waiting for? So let's actually reveal the number 1 from the previous list and see where that is. Alright, and the number 1 from the previous list is somehow the Joker, and the joke is on me because hindsight 2026, this movie is an absolute joke. I wish they never made a sequel that makes this movie not a Joker movie. Had this been an actual Joker movie, this movie would be amazing. But Todd Phillips had to ruin a good thing and was like, hey, everybody, you know that thing you like? Yeah. I'm gonna fucking shit all over it. So, as you can tell by my disdain, it's not in the top 10 list. It's in the top, in fact, it's the number 1 worst movie of the year. And it's there because of the hindsight. Yeah, I obviously really enjoyed this movie when it came out. The performance was great. Everything was fantastic about it. But the moment you find out that he's somehow not the Joker, even though he has the name of the guy from the comic that says he's the Joker. And Todd Phillips is like, you know what? Right in the dick. Right in the dick. Right in the dick. Hey, you know what? Also, it's a musical. Right in the dick. Sorry, Loki. Didn't mean to scare you, buddy. You see that, Todd Phillips? You scared my cat. All right? You gonna apologize to me for scaring my cat, Todd Phillips, huh? Jeez. Oh, yeah. Anyway, so there we go. That's the complete list now. The actual complete list of... Anyway, let's reveal what we haven't revealed. Shall we? Okay, up next, we have... Let's just start at the bottom, shall we? Let's start with the bad news. So, number 6 on the worst of 2019 is El Camino. And this is on this list because this movie is absolutely pointless. This movie was released way too late. Should have been released when Breaking Bad came out. And they missed their opportunity. Everybody's too old in this movie. And it's information we didn't need at well after the conclusion of the movie, or of the series rather. It felt out of place and it sucks. And I'll never watch it again. And I hate that I watched it. So, alright, so coming up in third is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, of the worst movies of the year. I was so massively excited for this movie, being a huge Tarantino fan, and even though there's a lot of fun cinematography tricks and stuff like that in this movie, sure, it looks great, the ending is explosive with the flamethrower, and Brad Pitt's performance is absolutely amazing. I just can't get behind this movie at all in terms of watchability. It's just so pretentious. There's way too much feet, and there's a whole lot of nothing going on that just makes it so unenjoyable to get through. This should have been about an hour and 20 minutes of a movie, and it's way too much. So let's go see what number 2 is of the worst of the year, because we already know what number 1 is, and that is, of course, Glass. Woo! Does this movie ever suck? This movie is absolutely atrocious. And the first hour of this movie sets you up so high for such good expectations. And the moment they get to the psych ward, you wonder who let M. Night Shyamalan out of the psych ward to write and make this movie. And whoever let him come up with that ending, everybody should be fired and never make another movie again, because that type of decision making is absolutely insulting to people who want to enjoy a sequel to something that they've already enjoyed. Turd City. But let's stop talking about turds. Let's get into some more good news. Let's reveal what's on the honorable mentions list here for 2019. And let's just pump through these real quick. I think that's the music playing me off here. We got a couple more here. Let's not waste any more time. I don't want to go on too much. This episode is already way too long. And the movies we're about to reveal, everybody already knows about. So what's left here on the top 10 we haven't talked about is number 10, and Midsommar. We also haven't talked about number 9, which is Dragged Across Concrete. This movie is absolutely phenomenal, but it's a little lower on my list because it's not one that I'm going to go back to and watch a lot. All right, we already know what number 8 is, Jojo Rabbit. And then we got the top 5 already cleared up, so we only have 2 left to reveal, and that's number 7 and number 6. And both of these movies are going to get a massive boost due to the Halloween rewatchability. And at number 7, we have Crawl, a monster creature feature of alligators or crocodiles. I can't remember which one it was, but they are basically water puppies gone mad. If you like creature features, you know what to do! Go find it. Yeah, so Child's Play is at number 6. I'm gonna watch it on more Halloweens than not because it's just it's a fun, turn your brain off horror movie with a modern, stylish twist to it. So there you go, folks. That's everything. Thank you so much for watching this episode. I really appreciate you sticking through to the end. I know it's been a long episode, way longer than usual, and longer than the rest of them are going to be. Well, once we get to the 70s, those might be a little long. But the next two, 1920 and 1921 top 10 lists, are going to be much shorter videos. But I do really appreciate you guys sticking through to the end. Hope you had a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun. And if you want to check out the previous top 10 list that we compared all this to this year, there is the full video down below in the previous top 10 decade of review. And there's a full John Wick 3 review with a top 10 of Keanu Reeves' favorite movies as well that you can check out if you want some more content. The archive is still live. Please tell your friends, tell your family, share this around. Help me get through the YouTube algorithm. Hit that like, hit the subscribe, and we'll see you guys on the next reel. Until then, you'll be missing me. Take care.